Hi all and welcome back to Nick Stitch Designs with me Sylvia. In today's video I am going to show you how to crochet this beautiful crocodile stitch shawl. So for today's crocodile stitch shawl, I will be using this beautiful tweed Aran yarn, and it's a category 4 yarn. I will be using 6mm hook, but of course you can use any yarn you like for your shawl and also the recommended hook size. You will also need a yarn needle, pair of scissors, and a tape measure. So the more thicker your yarn is, the more heavier it will get. So I really recommend a lightweight yarn, like for example DK or this Aran. But if you want your shawl to be really nice and chunky, of course you can use a thicker yarn as well. So this is our beautiful shawl, and I love this crocodile stitch. It's got beautiful texture and it's looking amazing, and you can use it for many different projects. First, we are going to start with the slip knot. Hold your yarn and like so, wrap it around your 2 fingers and create a cross. Go under this first one on top of the second one, pull it down and twist your hook. And this is your slip knot. Now we are going to create a ring. So I am going to chain 5 to create a ring. Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now I'm going to slip stitch into this very first chain here to create a ring. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop you had on your hook, like so. And now we are ready to work on our row 1. So for row 1, you are going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Like so. And this chain of 3 is counting as your first double crochet. So in this row 1, we will create our first scale. This crocodile stitch is 2 rows repeat, so always we will have 1 row with the frame and 1 row we will fill that frame with the scales. I will show you later on. So first we are going to start with the first scale. So each scale will have 5 double crochet, chain 1 and 5 double crochet. So let's start our first scale. So chain 3. This chain of 3 is counting as your first double crochet. So I am going to place 4 more double crochet inside this ring. So yarn over, insert, like so. You can hold your yarn end like this, close to your ring, like so. So you hide it as you go. So yarn over, insert, bring it up, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And this is your second double crochet because this chain of 3 is counting as your first one. So we need 3 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now chain 1 and place 5 more double crochet inside this ring. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, chain 1 and 5 more double crochet. 2, 3, 4 and the last one 5. And this is your first scale. So we have chain of 3 and then 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochet. So altogether 5 double crochet on this side. Then we chain 1 and then we placed 5 more double crochet like so. And this is your first scale completed. Now we are ready to start row 2, and it will be our frame row. So one row will be frame row and one row we will do scale row. So we will simply fill that frame with the scales. I will show you how to do it. Not to worry, it's super easy. It may look complicated, but it's really not. So you will repeat 2 rows. For row 2, we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3, like this. Now you will place double crochet in this space here. So yarn over, insert, and finish your double crochet like so. Now you will work your second V-stitch and third V-stitch. So basically your frame row is made out of V-stitches. So this is my first V-stitch. Now into this middle part you are going to work your second one. And as you know, the V-stitch is double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet. But as this side, if I would chain 4, it will get a little bit bigger. So I decided to always chain 3 and then place double crochet like so. So this side won't be too big. Okay, so for our next V-stitch, we are going to place it right in this circle here. So yarn over, insert, work your double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet. So this is your second V-stitch like so, and you are not chaining anything between your V-stitches. Okay, so now we need one more V-stitch and we will place it right here under this chain of 3 when we started. Okay, so find this space here and work your double crochet, insert. Now chain 1 and work one more double crochet to complete your V-stitch like so. So this is our row 2 completed. This was our frame row. I'm going to call it frame row, but of course you can call it the way you like or prefer. So every other row will be frame row and every other row will be scale row. So we completed this frame row. So next row, row 3, will be again scale row. So for row 3, we will be filling this row with the scales. And now the fun starts. So first, we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3, like so. And this chain of 3 is counting as your first double crochet. And we need to place 4 more double crochet under this double crochet here to complete our first half of our scale. So I have 1 and I need 4 more. So go under this double crochet here and place 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, because I need altogether 5. So this chain of 3 is counting as my first double crochet. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we are going to chain 1 like so. I like to hold it this way, and also you can see much better. So this was our first half of our first scale. Then we chain 1, and now we need to complete our scale to place 5 more double crochet, but we are going to work under this part of our V-stitch. So this was our V-stitch here. We placed 5, chain 1, and we need to place 5 more. So I like to turn it like this and fold it like so. So again, this is your first half. Turn it like this, and you can pinch it so you can see the space. So we will place 5 double crochet right here. So yarn over, insert, work 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 more. So we completed our first scale. As you can see, it's looking amazing. So we had chain of 3, then 4 more double crochet under this double crochet here to have altogether 5 double crochet, which is first half of our first scale. Then we chain 1, and then we placed 5 more double crochet under this part of our V-stitch, like so. Now turn it this way so you can see better. And this scale will cover this middle V-stitch, like so. So we are going to skip it for now, and we're not gonna do anything under this one. We will always skip one once you have your scale completed. And we will work next scale, our second scale, under this V-stitch right here. So once we work our second crocodile stitch or second scale in this V, we will have 2 crocodile stitches in this row. So we completed our first scale in this row 3. We filled this frame in row 2, like so. So this was our first scale. And what we did here, we had chain of 3, then we placed 4 more double crochet under this part of the V-stitch from row 2. Then we chain 1, and then we placed 5 double crochet on this side of this V-stitch. So we have 5 double crochet here, chain 1, and 5 double crochet here for this row 3. Next, you are going to turn it this way. And as you can see, there is a V-stitch from this row 2. And we are going to cover it like so. And we are going to simply skip it. We are not going to work into that V-stitch. So our next scale will be in this V-stitch right here. So let's work on our next scale. So let's start. This is our V-stitch here, and we are going to turn it this way, and we are going to place 5 double crochet here, chain 1, and 5 double crochet to finish our second scale. So we're skipping this middle V-stitch. Now, what I like to do, I like to turn it this way, like this. Now, pinch this double crochet here, yarn over, and work your double crochet. So that's your 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And when you have a look, it's looking like this. Now we are going to chain 1. Turn it this way. And now we are going to work under this double crochet here. So when you look at it, like so, we have scale here, then we skipped this V-stitch. We completed first half of our second scale, chain 1, and now we are going to work under this double crochet right here. To do so, you are going to place 5 double crochet on this side. So hold it this way and place 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, like so. So we completed the second half of this second scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. And this is our row 3 completed. Not to worry about this, we will work on it in the next row. And this is the row 3 completed. Now we are going to start row 4. And as I said at the start, every other row will be the frame row. So now we are going to create the frame for this row 4. Chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and place double crochet under this double crochet here. So in this space right here, yarn over, insert, pull through 2 and pull through 2. Next, you are going to place your next V-stitch. So this was our first V-stitch, but little bit different, as usually you have V-stitch with chain of 3, chain 1 between, and then double crochet. But as I said at the start, this will stretch a little bit, so it will look slightly bigger. So we will always do it this way. So we will always chain 3 and then double crochet, like so. Next, we are going to place our next V-stitch in this space here, so right in the middle of our scale. So yarn over, work double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet to create our V-stitch. Next V-stitch will be right here, and this will hold our scales nicely together. So we will anchor it together with the V-stitch. So as we skipped this V-stitch here, these scales will go on top like so, as you can see from the top. And we will place a V-stitch in this space, and it will hold nicely together like so. So we will place a V-stitch like this. Make sure you go in the middle of this V-stitch here, like so. So you can see. So that's your double, chain 1 and double, your V-stitch, and it will hold these 2 scales and this frame in this row 2 nicely together like this. Our next V-stitch will be in this space here. So again, V-stitch, oopsie daisy. So that's double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet, like so. And our last V-stitch will be under this chain of 3 here. So find this space and work your last V-stitch. Double, chain 1, and double, like so. And this is the row 4 completed, our frame row. So every other row is the frame row and every other row is the scale row. 2 rows repeat. So for row 5, we will be filling this frame with the scales again. First, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and work 4 more double crochet under this double crochet here, or first half of your V-stitch. And this chain of 3 is counting as your first, so you will need 4 more. 1, 2, 3, and 4, chain 1. So this was our first half of our scale, then we chain 1. Now we are going to complete the second half of our scale. To do so, you are going to turn your work like this, because we need to work under this double crochet or second half of this V-stitch. So turn it like this and place double crochet, 5 double crochet under this double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, like so. And this is your first scale for this row 5 completed. So now, as you can see, we created this first scale here, and now we are going to skip this next week. We will always do so because this scale will cover it nicely, like so. Okay, so every time you do your scale, you will cover the next V like this. So we'll always skip the next V after we complete the scale. And we will work into this one, then we will skip this one, and then we will work scale into this last one. So next, skip the next V-stitch, cover it with the scale, and work into this V-stitch right here. Let me just show you from this side one more time. So this scale is completed and it will cover the next V-stitch like so. So we will work under this one here. This scale, once completed, will cover this V-stitch, and then we will work under this last V-stitch, our last scale. Okie dokie, so we're skipping this one and we will work our next scale under this one. To do so, turn your work this way, like this. Now pinch this V-stitch, or this first half of this V-stitch, and place 5 double crochet. One, 2, 3, 4, and 5, chain 1. Now turn it this way, like this and work under this half of your V-stitch. Place 5 double crochet again. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And as you can see, this is our second scale completed. So you have noticed this. Of course, you know, once we create the frame in the next row, we will anchor it together. So it will stay nicely together like this once we place the V-stitch in the next row. So this is your second scale completed like so. And as you can see, it will cover this next V-stitch like so. So we will skip this one and we will work our last scale into this last V-stitch right here. So let's finish our last scale. So skip this next V-stitch right here. Turn your work like so. So the scales are on this side and you can clearly see your V, which is here. So we will pinch it like this and we will work 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Chain 1. Turn your work this way so we can work under this half of our V-stitch to complete our last scale. 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And this is our row 5 completed. And now you already know what to do for row 6. So we are going to work on our frame row. To start, we are going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3 as always, and we will place one more double crochet under this double crochet here to create our first V-stitch. Next, as you can see, you will work your next V-stitch in this space, then to anchor the frame and the scale row together, you will work in the middle of this skipped V-stitch like so. So there will be your next V-stitch, then in the middle of the scale, then again to anchor, so you will work in the middle of this skipped V-stitch and anchor it together like so in place, and then you will place your next V-stitch here and then last V-stitch under this last double crochet or chain of 3 like so. So let's work on our frame row. So we have our first V-stitch here, next one will be in the middle, so double, chain 1, double, V-stitch will be always double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet, except this first one, it will be always chain 3 and then double crochet, okay? But if you go chain 3, chain 1 and then double crochet, it will be fine as well, but it will be slightly bigger. Okay, so your next V-stitch, we need to anchor the scales and this skipped V-stitch together. So we will place V-stitch in the middle and hold it together double, chain 1 and double. Next, in this space here, in the middle of your scale, double, chain 1 and double. And the next V, again we need to anchor this V stitch and these scales together. So we will place next V stitch in the middle, double, chain 1 and double. Next, in the middle of the scale, V stitch, double, chain 1 and double. And the last one, last V stitch under this double crochet, double, chain 1 and double. And this is our frame row completed. For row 7, you will be filling this framework with your scales again. So chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. Then you will already know how to work your frame row and the scale row. You will work on your shawl for as many rows as you need, and depends on the project you're working on. Maybe you want this only around your slippers or as your sleeves or as your shawl or the neck warmer or the head. It's many options with this beautiful crocodile stitch, but for this video I'm working on the shawl. So you will work for as many rows as you like. And that's how you are going to repeat for your shawl for as many rows as you need. One row will be scale row, one row will be frame row. So you will work like so, and as you get bigger and bigger, you will get more of these spaces to place your V stitches. Don't forget, one at the start, then spaces, then anchor, space, anchor, space, anchor, space, and always at the end as well. So as you get bigger and bigger, you will have more of these spaces. So continue like so, working on your shawl for as big as you like. So the last row need to be slightly different. So do your frame row, and then once I'm done, I show you how to do the scale row, which will be slightly different. So I have just finished my last frame row, and I'm going to show you how to do this last scale row a little bit different. So in this scale row, we will be anchoring these scales straight away, as we don't need the next frame row anymore because we are done. I just want this last scale row to be nice and neat. So do your first scale as you would normally do, and then I show you how to anchor it straight away. So 5 double crochet, chain 1, and then 5 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, like so. So this is what we would normally do. We would do scale, and then we would skip the next V stitch, and then in the next row we would anchor it with the V stitches again. But as I don't need to go any bigger, I want to finish here. I don't need any more frame rows to anchor it. I need to anchor these crocodile stitches straight away, and to do so you will simply work into this next V stitch like this. So before we were skipping it because this scale would cover it like so, but for this last row I want you to do this. So into this next V stitch, which you would normally skip, you will work slip stitch from the back like so. So go in the middle like this and work slip stitch like so. Now when you turn it, it will stay nicely in place, and then you will simply continue. You will simply work slip stitch into those V stitches which we would normally skip. Okay, so I worked slip stitch here, and I'm simply going to work the next scale. So turn your work, I slip stitch into this V stitch, and now I will simply continue working on my scales. So I will place 5 double, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, chain 1, turn it this way, pinch it, and work your scale. Work on your second half of your scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and I show you one more time. So this V stitch you would normally skip, but for this last row we will be working slip stitching into this. So simply just go from the back and slip stitch like so, and work into the next V stitch, your next scale. Okay, so that's how we are going to finish this last scale row with slip stitches inside those V stitches which we skipped before. Okay, so like this last row will be nice and neat, and these crocodile stitches won't be flying around, and like this with the slip stitch they are nicely in place, anchored. Okay, so in this last row you're not skipping these V stitches, you will work slip stitches into those skipped V stitches. Okay, so I slip stitched into these to anchor my scale, and you will simply continue placing your scale. So into the next one work scale, into the next one slip stitch, scale, slip stitch, and so on. So continue and finish your last row. And this shawl has got a beautiful texture and it's looking amazing. Look at this amazing crocodile stitch. It looks like this from the back. And it is really, really beautiful. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like it, share it, and of course don't forget to subscribe to my channel Unique Stitch Designs for more ideas from me, Sylvia. And please don't forget to find me on social medias. I am on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and TikTok. Thank you very much for watching.